Halifax, Nova Scotia was originally called Chipuktuk, meaning Great Harbour, and was a point of settlement for the Mi'kmaq First Nation. Although Europeans anglicized the name as Chipukto, the importance of this great harbour was not lost. The British Army founded the town of Halifax in 1749 to take advantage of its natural landscape, its strategic location, and its climatic condition, which made the port competitive on the world stage. In 1905, the Government of Canada became the new owner of the port when the British Royal Navy moved out, which opened the Halifax waterfront to trade and business. But the docks in the port were congested, in bad shape, and provided little room for expansion. To deal with the ever-growing shipping demand, new docking facilities in the south end of Halifax were planned, marking the beginning of Halifax's ocean terminals. It included a new grain elevator, a hotel, a rail station, larger piers, an immigration office, new waterfront sheds, buildings for offices, and cargo storage. While the Great War and the Great Depression slowed down progress, World War II was the catalyst that started the transformation of the Port of Halifax into an international shipping destination. After the declaration of war, there was a massive increase in the movement of goods and people between Halifax and the rest of the world. 2 decades after World War II, containerization took over the industrial stage. It made shipping more efficient, lowered freight charges, removed the need for onshore storage buildings, and increased the overall amount of global trade. It was the most important development in international transport services since the changeover from sail to steam, and Halifax was doing its best to stay at the forefront of the industry, boosting the economy across the Maritimes through this new and cost-efficient way of exporting produce and goods. Halifax was even the first port in North America to include direct ship-to-rail transfer of cargo containers. Within a decade of containerization, Halifax International Container Terminal opened, becoming the first common user container terminal in all of Canada. Unlike its competitors, this allowed any container companies to use the terminal to transport their goods in and out of Canada, making the port more attractive. The following decades would bring a number of significant moments to the Port of Halifax, including the birth of the modern cruise industry, the addition of Halterm to ocean terminals, the ongoing development of Richmond terminals, the construction and then expansion of Fairview Cove Container Terminal, and investments by CN to increase their cargo capacity. Each one of these events would further connect the municipality to the global market. The city's history has always been tied to the harbour. In times of conflict, Halifax has served as a naval base and site of defence. Many present-day Canadian families can trace their migration through the gates of Pier 21, creating a landmark for past and present immigrants. But these moments are, well, history. So why should Nova Scotians today care about the harbour or our ports? Containerized cargo through Halifax has grown steadily in recent years, hitting record volumes in 2017. And if this sounds familiar, that's not surprising, as we welcome bigger cruise ships and more passengers to our port city every year. And let's not forget the Halifax Seaport District, home of NASCAD University Port Campus, Halifax Seaport Farmers Market, the Canadian Museum of Immigration at Pier 21, and the Cunard Centre. It's no surprise that Nova Scotia is a go-to tourism destination. We have East Coast music, lighthouses, vineyards, amazing natural landscapes, and lobsters, really good lobsters. In 2015, tourism contributed $2.5 billion to the Nova Scotia economy, with the Halifax area making the most out of all the tourism regions in the province. It's an industry that keeps growing. That means more tourists to support our local shops and restaurants. There's a reason that we've been called Canada's Atlantic Gateway for over 50 years. In the past, it was the first glimpse of Canada for new residents. Today, it's the first glimpse for hundreds of thousands of world travelers. In 2018, almost 200 vessels visited Halifax, bringing with them over 300,000 guests. That's 3/4 of the municipality's entire population, and it's estimated that cruise passengers alone add $74.3 million to Halifax's economy every year. But the impact doesn't stop at tourists. Many of these vessels need to refuel or restock the kitchen with fresh seafood and Nova Scotia wine, and some are equipped to take on electricity while docked. In total, each cruise season generates roughly $172 million in economic benefit for the local economy. There's no denying that our cruise industry plays a big role in the region's global image and economy, but as important as it is, it's still just a drop in the ocean when compared to the fleet of vessels that visit the Halifax Harbour every year. The Port of Halifax's biggest responsibility is shipping. And when we say big, we mean big. Every year, the port handles about 500,000 TEU, or 20-foot equivalent units, of cargo. That's comparable to 500,000 of these big metal things moving through our harbour each year. That's a lot of goods coming in and out of our city by ship, rail, and truck. And each one of these containers is an important part of Nova Scotia's economy. One container of Nova Scotia seafood is worth $108,000 in economic benefit. But not everything can fit into a shipping container. Many products require specialty sites for the loading and unloading of break bulk, roll-on, roll-off, and bulk cargo. That's why the Port of Halifax offers a number of different services throughout the harbour and within the Greater Halifax region. In total, the Halifax Port Authority manages 260 acres of marine industrial land, which includes several marine facilities. Through their variety of services, the port connects Halifax to over 150 countries and enables Nova Scotia exporters to contribute $2.58 billion to the provincial gross output. Almost 15,000 jobs in Nova Scotia are tied to the Port of Halifax, with 6% of all jobs in the Halifax Regional Municipality related to port operations. The economic impact that shipping brings to Nova Scotia is impressive, but it plays a much bigger role in your life than you probably realize. In fact, almost every moment of your life is impacted by shipping. Look around your room. The computer, books, odds and ends, table, almost every single one of them arrived through a shipping container. Sure, these Nova Scotia apples are an exception, but how do you think the rest of the world gets to enjoy them? We live in a time where the entire world is connected through a global market. Products that have traveled across the world fill our shops, grocery stores, and even our streets. Having the advantage of being directly connected to the world is a benefit to the economic sustainability of our municipality, province, and country.